Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is a very real prospect of a new world order. The new world order does not mean surrendering our national sovereignty or forfeiting our interests. He took an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. By some, he's been called controversial.
I'm in line here. I'm in line. Somehow it ain't working here. Trying to bring this up. Trying to get connected here. It says I'm connected. But I'm on the chat room. Can you hear me? Alright, I'm trying to get a hold of it, trying to look up. Can you hear? I'm getting static here from the Skype line. Hello? Alright, we're trying to get a hold of Revolution Radio. I am talking here on this network, and all I can hear is a roaring. It's a horrible connection. You're damn right it is. And we're trying to get here. Alright. Alright. No, it's not the same setup. It wouldn't let me. It dropped me 3 times yesterday. I finally got the roaring to stop. I'm connected with 2 of them. I was just on another, I was on my other computer here. I was on that computer, and it dropped me off. I tried to connect with somebody just for a sound check. I tried to connect with them, and it dropped. It dropped 3 times. So to call in on here on this line, I got connected, and somehow we got the evidently we got the noise and the roar stopped. We got the noise and the roar stopped, and so I'm broadcasting now. All right. No, I'm not taking any calls today. What I'm going to do is share with you some a story in progress. I started this last week, and I started this last week, and it was about Liberty Village. Now, this is a pretty complicated proposal. And well, let me check a couple other targets here and see if we've got any thing here that's going on my audio settings here on Skype. We'll take microphone down a notch and maybe raise the speaker volume a little bit. See if that sounds any better. I'll check on the chat room occasionally to see what you're doing while we're doing here. No, I don't have spaceships. That's just friends of mine. But I'm told the Galactic Council knows my name. Now, I used to joke that I've been legislated out of more businesses than most people have been in. When I got involved in something, it seemed like the senators or the congressmen were following behind me and trying to figure out how they can stop me from doing what I'm doing. And still got tremendous. I don't know how the sound is. Alright. I'm still getting a little bit of feedback here, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. Alright. I started doing let me deal with that. I don't know what this is. I don't know whether or not we're having a problem here or not. We'll take that off. This one's still working. Oops. Alright, how about this? Okay, now we're working here. We got this one working here. Odds and ends. Well, it's been kind of strange today. Alright. Alright, we got that, and I got that one done, and then I got that one done. And now, what are we putting in here? We're putting in here. This one. Okay. Alright. Years ago, I started head shops in Texas. I'd been out of California, thought that that's the way it was going to go, thought marijuana would be legal soon, and I started the paraphernalia industry. They immediately started legislating against us. I started the Free American. Well, let me put it to you the way I have written it for a little while. I've got actually 2 articles that are relevant. I've got 2 articles that are relevant. And let me just share this with you, and then I'm going to go to some news real quick. Back in 1994, I bought 5 acres on the north half of a tiny 2-house town. It was 30 miles from the nearest small town. Bingham was still on the map, and I bought the old post office and general store in 1994. The ranches that surrounded it filled up half a page in the Socorro, New Mexico phone book. Carrizozo was 30 miles to the east, Socorro 30 miles to the west. I started my Free American magazine, my radio show, and the militias in New Mexico. That certainly brought a lot of heat on me after 2 Jewish organizations, the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, and Southern Poverty Law, SPLC, publicized my involvement in promotion of the militias nationwide when my little local newspaper went national in full color. Their attacks and cries of racism and anti-Semitism were unfounded and untrue, as they remain today. For all you people out there who want to refer to me as a hater, that just shows to me you're probably one of the most ignorant Americans out there, because this is what they do. This is, I don't know how much more I can emphasize. This is what they do. This is how they work. This is how communism works. This is how communism works. They vote to divide and conquer. They, and how, and let's see, as a matter of fact, I just ran across something along that lines. The, one of the stories here is, well, this is just how they work. They came after me for the militias, and they came after me, the Southern Poverty Law came after me when I thought of, when I tried to reinstitute Liberty Villages, when I tried to reinstitute the Free American after my so-called accident. Now, I want to take you back and make you understand why this started, how this started. I started my Free American magazine, my radio show, and the militias in New Mexico. That brought me the heat from the ADL, Southern Poverty Law, SPLC. They publicized my involvement in the promotion of the militias nationwide when my little local newspaper went national in full color. Their attacks and cries of racism, anti-Semitism were unfounded and untrue. Well, I did start the militia in New Mexico, but I did it in Governor Gary Johnson's office. The chief of the New Mexico State Police was a subscriber for 10 years. Every elected official in Santa Fe Roundhouse got a copy of my magazine each month. And the SPLC and ADL never quit. When my name and the Free American appeared in the SPLC-inspired FBI document sent to all police departments, I called the governor and the chief of police the next day, and I told him I thought someone was trying to arrange my death by cop. The document was recalled by the governor the next day. Attacks on my advertisers, supporters, and guests continued. Some people who appeared on my show wanted to help were killed or imprisoned on false or inflated charges. Roger Christie was arrested shortly after appearing on my show to talk about his THC ministries in Hawaii. This was 3 years ago. He has not been released. He has not had a bond set. He has not gone to trial and been held without bond. I spent 10 years, folks, in what I consider an ideal location. Fate had put me 10 miles from the Trinity site. My neighbor said he slept through the first atomic blast and he was approaching 80. He was right across the street from the West Sands Missile Range. My children learned to drive themselves to school. They played football and had a good childhood, growing up in a small town where everyone knew them and they were always safe. We had a Coke box out front, a library of books, a Miracle Tooth soap, and a little beef jerky. The garden was producing lettuce, corn, and other produce. My sons went to militia training on the NRA range in Raton, New Mexico, and they outshot all the adult militiamen. Because of the magazine, we had a little traffic. At various times, we had folks drop in with their campers and RVs. Some stayed and helped around the place. Then they caught the wind. I decided a restaurant and a motel or an RV park would be an attraction and a moneymaker. Rumors were spreading that the Trinity site was about to be turned into a national park. There was plenty of traffic on U.S. Highway 380. On the trip to Ruidoso, the ski resort, only 40 miles to the west, I found an old-fashioned looking cabin. Made by Cavco at some resorts. Just outside of Red River in Santa Fe, I found yurts and teepees. I decided to concentrate on a configuration of teepees surrounding a yurt. I figured if anyone driving down the highway seeing a bunch of brightly lit teepees with a sign that said vacancy, organic food, and hip coffee would get a stream of steady customers. Around the 1st of 2004, we moved to Phoenix to publish Arizona's Thunder Riders magazine. My friend and employee neighbor, Vincent, took care of the house in New Mexico, answering the phone, shipping all of our orders. I put the Liberty Village concept into the centerfold of my last Free American magazine, March 2004. The 10th anniversary of the birth of the Free American. On the air, I had referred to 9/11 as an exaggerated case of Jewish lightning. In April, the New York Times broke the story of George Bush allowing the NSA to tap all of our phones. So much for Edward Snowden's information. And by the way, there's a link here in my article to Verizon rewarded for records release with a $10 billion government contract. Actually, it was AT&T. It was the phone I was using that they used to try to kill me and two of my friends, two of the people that were going to help me, were killed after we talked on the telephone. Bill Cooper and I had decided to put our magazines together. I had national distribution. I could have got Veritas national distribution. We decided we could work together. 2 weeks later, he was dead. Casey Nethercott called me. Clay, I want to help you get the Free America started again. Hey, thanks, Casey, but it's, hey, man, it's, pretty expensive. Clay, I got $1.5 million in one account. Money's not an issue. Hell, in that case, Casey, buy me breakfast. I'll be down in the morning. I tell you what, let me see here, suppose. If you want to call in, you can call me on 646-915-8774. I'm not jeopardizing my connection to take any calls on the show today. The call-in number for Blog Talk Radio is 646-915-8774. I look at that occasionally. So, this was all happening after my accident. Before the accident, I was doing really well, I thought. Now, May 2020, 2004, they tapped my phone, arranged for an accident, and put me in the hospital for 4 months. 3 of them in a drug-induced coma. I woke up to find that I lost almost everything, and the attacks continued after I got out of the hospital. The notes and columns I wrote after getting out and learning of the $750,000 hospital bill that were written when the attacks, these articles, this one, or the links that I have here, became one chapter in my latest book, Mystery Babylon. The pressure from communist propagandists continues until the present day. The loss of my business, my property, and my family weighed heavily on my mind while I tried to continue and to regrow what I lost. Fortunately, I'd become eligible for Social Security and had a small income. I attempted to restore the Free American and intended to use that to develop my property in New Mexico. Unfortunately, I was alone and damaged goods. No one I had supported in the Patriot movement came forward to help. Kind of like no one in the movement in the Revolution Radio has come forward outside. That's not true. Excuse me. Don't let me say that. I'm judging every. There have been people that ordered my books. There have been people in the chat room that did order stuff and have supported me, and I appreciate both of you. But all of the attacks and why I get so angry at people when they call me a hater is because they are basically doing the work of the ADL and the Israelis they pay to come into the chat room to do exactly that, to put me down, to try to prevent me from getting any support. They don't want you listening to me. They don't want you. They don't want you supporting me. They don't want you reading about the books, and that totally basically the Mystery Babylon contains just as much, if not more, information as Snowden released. I told you when I started the FEMA, when I filmed the Homeland Security meeting, the first Homeland Security meeting, I told you what FEMA was going to do. I told you that Boston was coming. I told you that we were going to have troops in the streets. I told you that the Russians were coming, or the Chinese, or that they were going to make the gangs into say, quasi brown shirts type of organization. All of that is happening now, right now. So, and I'm going to share. Let me just let you. I really want you to understand how this works. How this works. First of all, they want us into wars. All wars are bankers' wars. Let's see here. This was latest. Now, Paul Pantone is coming on my show on Monday. Southern Poverty Law has done the same thing to him that they did to me by demonizing me for starting militias, demonizing me, and now they're doing it to everybody. If you're a gun owner, you're being demonized. If you support the Tea Parties, which are controlled opposition, you're being demonized. You know, if you're, they're still doing the same thing to us. Now let me put this up. This is what Southern Poverty Law did when I started trying to restart the Liberty Villages. Had my property, no problem, no problem. Now, the last few years been crying for New Mexico anti-Semitic militia proponent Clayton Douglas, but that hasn't dampened his entrepreneurial spirit or the high esteem in which he holds himself. Douglas, 64, is a motorcycle aficionado who used to publish a biker magazine called Thunder Riders and another periodical titled Free America. The latter was a showcase for conspiracy theories, offbeat medical theories, and anti-Semitic screeds, such as are the Jews behind the destruction of America. He was also information officer for the New Mexico militia in 1990, sold tracts of the anti-Semitic Christian identity theology at a 2002 expo, and blamed the Jews for 9/11/2001 terrorist attacks at another conference. If that wasn't enough, he was a one-time mayor of the tiny hamlet of Bingham, New Mexico, which he succeeded in having declared a UN-free zone. I sure did. I put up the sign myself. He self-published a couple of adventure novels he said were modeled on John D. MacDonald's Travis McGee series, and he broadcast a daily shortwave radio program. Now, this is really the beauty of what we are facing. These organizations, propaganda organizations, that try to orchestrate, divide and conquer, and try to turn Ron Paul into a hate monger, trying to turn me into a racist, trying to and calling me an anti-Semitic, being I guess the synagogue of Satan is anti-Semitic. I'll accept that label. But it doesn't mean I hate them just because they're evil, just because they're possibly satanic inspired. Maybe they're demon possessed. Maybe they are demons. I don't know what demon looks like. Do you? And this is what they are doing. Southern Poverty Law here. They're giving you all that's true. All that's true. They just don't tell you. I started to militia with the governor because they don't want to mention the governor. And then they get it right. Now, when this came in, this was posted in 2010. This is posted almost 2 years. Douglas's world crashed in 2004 when he was struck by a car while riding his motorcycle. He says he was hospitalized for 4 months for severe head injuries and other injuries, and doctors gave his family a little hope he would survive, or if he did, have all his facilities. The doctors had no idea the sort of man Clay Douglas was. He writes of himself in the third person on his website. Since I am the only one writing, since I was the only one running for America, since I was the only one running the Liberty Village idea, since I was the only one on my property, yeah, I did that. When Douglas was released from the hospital, his wife of 25 years left him and his business were in tatters, he says. He eventually resumed his radio show on the internet and combined his business into one entity, CRD Publishing. Nowadays, Douglas is still logging his books and DVDs on his website, posting anti-Semitic and conspiracy-laden content, but in a new twist, he's also promoting the benefits of hemp and of investing in so-called Liberty Villages. The latter project, which Douglas describes as a national franchise opportunity, apparently entails investors purchasing trailers constructed to look like cabins, teepees, and yurts on property Douglas owned in New Mexico. The villages would cater to itinerant bikers traveling around the country. Ultimately, Douglas says his Liberty villages, none of which seem to have been built or even begun, aim to become self-sufficient communities that recreate the kind of neighborhood we had in the beginning here in America. Each Liberty village in the Southwest will apply for the right to grow medical marijuana, he adds. Douglas promises short-term financing, low interest rates, and a variety of agricultural styles. Time is of the essence. To hear Douglas tell us, what with high gas prices, millions of illegals roaming our streets, and ominous detention centers being built. But there are hints that Douglas' strange little empire is struggling. He has posted a lengthy proposal for potential investors in his ventures. He needs $25,000 to cover existing debt, basic essentials, and another $15,000 for expansion. With additional capital and staff, he envisions cross-promotion opportunities and between his biker magazine, his radio show, and the products and books he hopes to sell. He hopes to resurrect his Free American magazine that explores the conspiracy theory version of history by combining it with Thunder Riders. His shows could be archived for late-night programming from participating radio stations until his popularity propels him into the prime time with Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, Don Imus, and Michael Reagan. He writes, as usual, in the third person. Sound grandiose? Not at all, Douglas says. Indeed, many commanding officers in our armed services, police captains, intelligence operatives, senators, congressmen, governors, and even presidents have read his articles, relied on his intelligence, listened to his word over the airwaves for better than 10 years. And who can blame him? 12 well-built, handsome, with an IQ well into the genius level, seem to be natural leaders. And Douglas writes, steering clear of any hint of false modesty. He's personal, having a quick wit, and a sharp mind, and in his videos will glue a couple to the couch for an evening. He's also self-disciplined, possessing the will of iron, no fear. Despite the healthy state of his self-esteem, Douglas anticipates skepticism. You may be asking yourself, if the above description is accurate, why isn't he in Hollywood bringing the big bucks instead of working alone in the studio? Major media companies pay big bucks for personalities with less talent. Why hasn't the network scooped this guy up? For the same reason the U.S. Army turned down his application for officers' candidate school. Sorry, son, someone with your IQ will question orders. They were right. Clay Douglas is the ultimate rebel. It's these qualities, Douglas assures would-be investors, that earned him the respect of equally strong men who've come back from war to mount the steel horses that are the symbols of freedom they were willing to fight for. It's these qualities that made thousands of copies of Thunder Riders and Free American fly off shelves around the country. Now the self-described genius needs your money. That's the way they do it. And I've told you that I've still got more of the article to share with you. But you need to understand that because of this attack, back 2 years ago, this attack, this shows you what they are afraid of, what they have done in Arlington, Texas. The police just raided and trashed a farmstead. And I've told you on my Facebook site, Free American 69, that this is the government response to the Liberty Village concept of self-sufficiency. The war on independent farmers with the backing of the corporate farm company Monsanto continues. No food we don't own. And this article was posted on August 20th. Just a few days ago. Their take, what was their take? They got a little bit of broccoli. They got some lettuce, and they did as much damage as they could. Did as much damage as they could. Now, this was, they were using the bogus claim of marijuana growing, which is another reason this is what they do. Oh, that could have been a pot plant. It looked like a pot plant, so we raided and we tore down and used broccoli. They destroyed 20 producing blackberry bushes, a field of sunflowers, and carted away essential farm equipment. Was there any evidence of marijuana growing? No. Did they? But they did find code violations. While conducting the search and destroy raid, police kept 8 adults in handcuffs, reportedly for several hours, using the raids to do that. Now, Ayn Rand is somebody that I quote you a lot. I quote a lot. By telling you that this is why they're putting us in a police state. They're going to find something to, if you don't smoke pot, if you have a drink and you drive, this is all what they're putting out. Now, here's another instance. Actually, what they say is, are you breaking the law by growing food in your own backyard? Don't laugh. You might be. Joe Salatin and everything I want to do is illegal. War stories from their local food front details his own experience on his own family farm established in 1961 that at every step government officials have unceasingly tried to criminalize, demonize, dismiss us, and laugh at us. And the struggle's not over. Some battles, as you will see, we did not win. Some we refused to fight. The war goes on. Joel explains how farmer friends receive visits, phone calls, threats, summonses, confiscation, criminal charges. The harassment from government officials would make your hair stand on end. This book is about one such farmer's lifetime of dealing with these issues. Are we in America anymore? Polyface Farms have been glowingly featured in countless national print and video media sources. It would not exist if the USDA and the Virginia Department of Agriculture had their way. From a lifetime of non-compliance, frustration, and humor and passion comes the behind-the-scenes real stories that have brought this little family farm into the forefront of the non-industrial food system. Asked recently what he thought of America's food system, where he thought America's food system was a continuum of history, one observer responded, "We're at Custer's last stand. For all the foodie fuff and ecological local buzz, the final analysis, the embedded heritage of transparent, truthful food system is in danger of annihilation." Today, these farmers who are trying to heal their land, their neighbors, and their food are marked for destruction. Using actual factual stories as a springboard to the broader philosophical issues surrounding food choices and entrepreneurship, the author comes across as a modern-day food evangelist, not fanatic. It's 338 pages. I don't have that yet, but it came across my desk today, and I wanted to talk about that. Yes, are we in America anymore? I frankly can't tell. Now, while I was on my land there, while I was going through all this, while ADR was attacking me, a woman showed up out of Auburndale. The story's long and involved, not very pretty. The short, sweet version is I thought I had a partner, we refinanced in her name. I sold her property in BM to get the money to restart the American Liberty Villages. The day we closed, she kicked me off the property. My property went from 5 acres and a home to 37-foot fifth wheel. To this day, there are factors involved that make it damn near impossible to analyze what happened and who was responsible for the string of bad luck, I wondered. The term love was tossed around. The wife I was with for 24 years left me and went back to work for her father, who was connected with Billy Solestis. She tells me I'm still the love of her life because she just waited for her father to die. He told her he would disown her if she ever came back after the accident. And this is a former Secretary of Agriculture also. Coincidence? Perhaps. But self-doubt crept in. Was I just a bad man, a poor husband, a father, a danger to our republic for reporting on the creep of communism, or was I purposely attacked and demonized by the Senator Joe McCarthy? Were the people that attacked or abandoned me foreign agents, or well-meaning people just dumbed down by our public school system? The war on drugs is a psychological, warfare on the American people. The hippies were attacked and demonized for using marijuana, but we started a peace movement that got us out of an illegal and immoral war. Just the beginning of the wars we've had ever since. And of course, I had a magazine back there. It was called Solomon's Herald, based on the character I created. And I put peace symbols in every 7-Eleven, every Walmart, every Kmart around the country. Now we're being psyoped by operatives who follow the principles of communist subversion. They destroy existing society by creating conflict and engineering economic and social failure and dysfunction, believing that whatever is left they will control, and them being in control and deciding to you according to your need and from you according to ability. That's the whole goal of the Rothschild finance communist program, from Karl Marx to the authors of Agenda 21. For years, I've tried to analyze what was happening to us and prepare or counter what I believe to be coming. It's happened many times in history. When the communists who invaded Russia murdered 60 million white Christian Russians, what if, let me put it this way, what if the communists who invaded Russia, murdered 60 million white Christian Russians, had taken over many aspects and departments inside our government? Why were these murderers in the Soviet Union given atomic weapons and all our citizens victimized by the media-produced Cold War? Who won that war? The banksters who financed all war and profited from all war. Now, Liberty Villages began as a concept for building a sustainable, self-supporting community in rural areas of the country. This was a good plan with a specified number of structures to be raised a specified number of miles from the nearest town. These were good ideas and could have worked in a different economy with more time to make it happen. But the world changed, at least for me, in the blink of an eye. Now money for investing in these criminal communities, building structures, buying land, all dried up. Our country's reeling from bank failures, home foreclosures, staggering unemployment, and governmental ineptitude. The House of Cards There's no going back. My companies and my property were lost. Along with 1 million other Americans who lost their homes. And subsequent contemplation, their Liberty Villages exist. There may not be a physical location in a rural area. There may not be a group of people living off the grid somewhere, living on some land off the grid. But Liberty Village is still here in a different form, I think. Liberty Village is not a place, not a collection of buildings located on a piece of land somewhere. Liberty Village exists everywhere and nowhere. It's a concept, a new paradigm, a way of surviving the global level social and economic changes we are currently experiencing and about to experience. Liberty Villages is an online community with information, ideas, research, and encouragement. We are reinventing our society right now. Liberty Village will be with you, bringing ideas, plans, and ways to connect with others as we create a new society on top of the ashes of the old. They couldn't control us without the computers and the setup they got. They couldn't do it. But everything, every weapon is a double-edged sword. We can use the internet for our benefit. We can educate our schools. We can educate our children. We can educate ourselves using the internet. I've done it. I didn't know how to do any of what I do, and I do now. And in my research, I found so many people that are actually taking my advice, that are actually doing what I suggested years ago. To try to do it now, I don't know. We may be too late. And now think about this. If you own a house you can barely afford to keep, and you can open up that home to share with someone who can help you with the mortgage and the bill, you're a part of Liberty Villages. If you were contemplating replacing your lawn with a vegetable garden, you're a part of Liberty Village. If you're installing a rainwater collection system, a solar panel, or anything else that can help you conserve resources, you're living in Liberty Village. If you're a small rancher or farmer struggling to maintain your way of life and you allow others to live on your land in return for their help, you create a Liberty Village. Liberty Village means being willing to let go of what no longer works and find new and creative ways to work with what you already have. Liberty Village means being willing to share your resources and allow others to share with you. Liberty Village is understanding that we are all connected and that we all need to work with each other to survive the current shift. We learned a very important lesson, starting with Hurricane Katrina and continuing to the present, where we are witnessing the train wreck of our economy. While our government is scrambling around in their panic trying to figure out what to do to save the banksters and large corporations from their own bad management and greedy business practices, the message being sent out loud and clear that we, the people, are on our own. So what do? Do we sit in the wreckage crying over all the stuff we've lost, or do we get busy and figure out how to live with what we already have? Stuff will not save us. The government will not save us, and the big corporations will not save us. We have to save ourselves and each other. We have to create things that work, like barter systems, home sharing, land sharing, and backyard farming. We all have gifts, skills, and resources to share or trade. Let's get busy. I've always tried to create jobs. I've always had people working around me. Always. Things are heating up now, folks. What I've been predicting 10 years ago, what I told you from filming the first Homeland Security meeting, is real, and it's happening right now. And tell you what I'll do. If you want to call in, we've got, I will take some calls in this second. hour here over on Blog Talk Radio, 520-413-2397. I've even got a let me find this. Try to find my what? Okay. Alright. The article I started on says we're at Custer's last stand. Today, these farmers who are trying to heal their land, their neighbors, and their food are marked for destruction. I don't know how it could be any more apparent and any more plain than that. Let's see, call in, here we go. Alright, we'll put that 646-915-8774. I've got my eye on that. We got about 8 minutes left, or about 6 minutes left before the music and for the break. Thank God I can warm up my coffee. Now, 10 years ago, when I came up with this plan, it was a good plan. And people did it. Over 20 years ago, when I started Free America, people did it. They went out, they started Ithaca Hours, they started Mile High Money, they, Carl Pantone created the heat device, you get better mileage. It's really all, and he'll be on Monday to explain to you that this fascist form of government that we had won't let you get better than 50 miles to the gallon. That takes money out of their pocket. They will crush your car. They will arrest Paul Pantone if he tells you that you can get 70 miles to the gallon using the GEAT system. This is pretty incredible that this is happening, but you gotta know it. This is why they're turning you into a criminal. Well, they're listening to your phones. They're listening to what you say. They're going to do something to keep you down, keep you enslaved. They are going to keep you enslaved. This is the way they want it. This is the way they need it. And you're going to support them with that electric. Every time you turn on a light switch, you're supporting J.P. Morgan. Think about that. Every time you stop to get gas, you're supporting John D. Rockefeller. Every time you borrow money for a home, you're supporting the Rothschilds. The revolution was successful because people 200 years ago weren't afraid of hard work, weren't afraid for a fight. Nobody was let's see, maybe there was, what were they called, the Tories? What were they called, the Tories? That's the people living in America that were supporting the British. Got any information on that? What are they called, Tories? They're the ones that were whining, can't we all just get along? Can't we all just get along? No, we can't. Not when you're trying to rip us off. Not when you're trying to steal our homes. And a lot of this, folks, I mean, these people that we're facing here, they're not just your average criminal. They are much worse than that. They will take your children away. They will utilize they will utilize whatever. They'll kidnap your children. They'll kill your children. They did it at Waco. They did it at Columbine. They did it at Sandy Hook. Maybe. We don't know. Sandy Hook should have been a real wake-up call to you when the chief of police or the spokesman for the police gets up and tells you, whoa, now if you're taking any information from Clay Douglas, if you're taking any other information about Sandy Hook, if you're taking about speculation, if it didn't come from us, it ain't real, it ain't true, and you could be prosecuted for it. You could be arrested. That's they are trying to, even if you've got a phone and you're taking pictures of the police, suddenly you're a criminal. Can't we all just get along? I don't think so. Damn.